Which footballer is the best at Fortnite? Today I've got together all of the biggest names in the sport, I've analysed their gameplay and I'm going to rank them on a tier list from the bots all the way up to the GOAT, which I will crown at the end of the video. Let's start off with Virgil van Dijk. Now on the pitch he's one of the best defenders in the world, but on the Fortnite map it's a bit of a different story. We actually have footage of Van Dijk's first ever time playing Fortnite alongside Mr. Savage, Seti and Archie, and considering he was a complete beginner, I actually think he held up pretty well. Yes, he had a few unorthodox approaches to the game, but overall he got a bunch of elims. He started looking fairly comfortable, he was enjoying himself, so honestly, fair play to him. Unfortunately, I am going to have to stick him in the bots tier. His aim was a little bit shaky, he didn't really build or edit, and there are going to be some top quality players coming up later in the video, so I do think this is pretty fair. But for his first ever time playing the game, I think Van Dijk looked great, and if he did continue playing it in his own time, I'm sure he could surge up this tier list. And something to keep in mind throughout this video is that we only have access to the public footage of these footballers playing the game. They could be going crazy in their spare time, but someone that I don't think is piecing people up behind the scenes is Neymar Jr. Now the Brazilian winger needs no introduction. On the football pitch he's a genius, but when it comes to Fortnite, I'm afraid to say he's a little bit lost. You can see from this footage that he's not the most skilled at the game. You can see him trying to use a shotgun from distance, a telltale sign of an inexperienced player. He's capable of building, but like many beginners, he doesn't use his builds effectively, and it doesn't stop him from being eliminated. Now, he's one of the few football players in this video that does not play on controller. Neymar actually uses a keyboard and mouse, and potentially that could be contributing to his relative lack of skill here. Maybe this is harsh, but I'm going to have to put him in the bot tier. There's going to be some much better players coming up, one of them being Mesut Ozil, the World Cup winning midfielder for Germany, someone who had his own Fortnite org in the past. He absolutely loves this game. Now, he actually used to stream himself playing Fortnite during chapters 1 and 2, and honestly he's not too bad. He can double edit. I wouldn't say his mechs are that fluid, but he can build and edit to a reasonably good standard. The issue is that it doesn't really lead to much. From this footage of him playing tournaments, you can see that he never really looks that potent. He never really looks like a real threat. There's no clips of him piecing people up. For all of his mechanical ability, he kind of just jumps in and relies on aim duels when he is fighting people. But despite all of that, I am going to put him in the actually good tier because his mechs are solid and he clearly has a great understanding of the game, having played it for so long. You can see that in the little things that he does. He takes out the security camera here, he knows about the vault, he clearly does understand Fortnite, so he has to be near the top of this tier list. And someone else that is not a novice when it comes to Fortnite is Harvey Barnes. The English winger plays for Newcastle United, and he had his biggest moment when he eliminated Mongrel and Clicks during a game of OG. I mean, this was just insane. I genuinely can't even believe this happened. I appreciate we don't have much footage to go off here. We don't see Harvey Barnes doing any crazy piece control or anything like that, but he has to go in the actually good tier. He literally took out 2 Fortnite legends in what was a fair fight, so that's the only place we can put him. His teammates in that clip were fellow footballers Anthony Gordon and Paul Dummett, but because we didn't really see much of them playing, I'm going to put them in the not enough footage category alongside the Bosnian left back Sead Kolasinac, who used to play with Mesut Ozil, but again, I just can't find any footage of him playing the game. Someone that we do have plenty of footage for though is Harry Kane, the England captain himself. He is someone that has a skin in Fortnite. We know how much he enjoys playing. Unfortunately, I wouldn't say he's exactly the craziest player. We can see from this clip that his style is very basic. It's quite slow. It's clear that he understands Fortnite. He can build, he can edit, and he's got a lot of experience playing the game. We've seen that because he was playing on stream with Ninja all the way back in 2018, but unfortunately, I've not seen enough clips to demonstrate his ability. Maybe he's secretly really good at the game, but I haven't seen any evidence of it, so I'm going to have to put him in the okay tier. Now, I just mentioned the stream with Ninja. 2 other footballers that featured were Kieran Trippier and Dele Alli. Both were playing for Tottenham at the time. Kieran Trippier, the English right back, did look a little bit lost during the games. He was often the first player to be eliminated. Maybe this is a harsh one because we didn't see too much of him playing, but I am going to have to throw him in the bot tier. You can see from this particular clip that he doesn't exactly cover himself in glory or with builds for that matter, so yeah, the bot tier is the only place he can go. Dele Alli, however, was a little bit better. He's someone that did have the classic OG playstyle. In this clip, he's got a bit of shaky aim, he's building building for the sake of building, and ultimately he does get knocked. He can't build a name though, so he's safe from the bottom tier completely. Now, of course, all these clips are from early 2018, so I don't want to be too harsh. The skill level back then was a bit lower. We actually do have some footage of him playing the game alongside Kevin De Bruyne from 2020, and it's fair to say that his skill did improve a little bit. He demonstrated that he could waterfall, his mechs had improved, he was getting more eliminations. It was good stuff from Dele Alli, so we're going to put him in the decent tier. Kevin De Bruyne is someone that I just mentioned, and honestly he is pretty solid at the game. He's one of the few players on this list that can say that he's eliminated a Fortnite pro. He took out the ex-North American player Bizzle during a video for Man City Esports, which was just a crazy moment. And you know what it is? It's evident from his gameplay that he can build. He clearly has an understanding of how to do stuff. You can see here he boxes up Dele Alli. Little things like that show that he does get Fortnite, so we're also going to put him in the decent tier. Now let's move on to someone who is genuinely really good at the game. I am talking about Christian Pulisic. The American winger used to stream a lot playing Fortnite back in mid-chapter 2, and do you know what it is? He is one of the best football players I have seen playing the game. He can build, he can edit, he's great at fighting, he understands angles, he uses piece control. Yes, these clips are somewhat old, they're from about 5 years ago, but he is for sure one of the best players on this list. He actually has a bit of competitive experience as well. He played the Chipotle Cup alongside Booga and actually looked pretty comfortable during it. It's just clear from watching his gameplay that he understands Fortnite better than most of the people on this list. The edits that he goes for, the shots that he takes, he clearly gets how to play the game. He is going straight into the actually good tier. Now, from American wingers to Gabonese strikers, our next player is of course Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, we do actually have some clips of him playing the game. A lot of them are from the Combat Charity Cup. This was a Pro-Am-esque tournament that ran at the start of 2021. Aubameyang was paired up with ex-pro Benji Fishy and content creator Gref, and they did really well during the tournament. It was a bit questionable because there weren't any moving zones enabled, but nonetheless I thought Aubameyang did a great job of following behind Benji Fishy. There was even this moment where he asked him if he needed mats, showing that he had good awareness, showing that he was actually being really proactive, which is very impressive considering he is just a footballer, not a Fortnite creator. Now, this cup gave us a great insight into his game sense, but I haven't seen any clips of Aubameyang's mechanics. I haven't seen him get any flashy eliminations, so it's kind of in question as to what his actual ability is, but I was very impressed with how he carried himself in the tournament, so I'm going to put him in the decent tier. Now, for our next player, we are sticking in the Aubameyang family. We're going to be talking about Pierre-Emerick's brother, Willie Aubameyang, who is honestly, I would say, the better of the two. He actually has solid mechanics, he can build and edit quite fluidly, and he actually does play tournaments every now and again. We can see that he queued up for Division 3 back in Chapter 6, and he holds his own during the endgame quite a lot of the time. He does look like a solid player. I will say that he was being slightly carried here, and there were a couple of moments where his awareness was a bit lacking. You can see here he dies to the storm in the end game, and then later on in the tournament he fails at an attempted lurk when he leaves himself completely exposed out in the open. It was less of a Fredoxy lurk and more of a Faxity one. Despite the fact that he is very error prone, I am going to put him in the actually good tier. I do feel he's shown enough from his gameplay, and if you don't believe me, here's a clip of him eliminating the deal to prove that he belongs in the top tier. Next up, we've got an England and Manchester United midfielder. I am of course talking about Mason Mount. He also played in the Combat Charity Cup, and he managed to eliminate Benji Fishy and Aubameyang during this cup. Unfortunately, there isn't a clip of this happening. We only know it took place from the kill feed. In terms of Mason Mount's actual gameplay, he's pretty solid. He can build fine, he can shoot okay, he doesn't really edit, but honestly that's okay. The fact that he killed Benji Fishy kind of just puts him way up on this tier list automatically. Despite how good he may or may not be, he also took out fellow footballer Dan James during this tournament, so he was pretty potent during a few of the games. He did have this funny moment where he didn't quite know how to use the chug splash correctly, but honestly that's fine. He eliminated Benji Fishy. Yes, we haven't seen much of his mechs, but I don't care. I'm putting him in the decent tier. And as for the Welsh winger Dan James, the only real footage we have is him getting eliminated by Mason Mount, so unfortunately I'm going to have to put him in the bot tier. There were a few other footballers that played in this cup, but I couldn't find any footage for them either. We had Trevor Chalobah, Manuel Lanzini, Luigi Gaspar and Jordan Pickford all queue up, but I'm going to have to put them all in the not enough footage section. However, someone that we definitely do have enough clips for is Memo Ochoa, the legendary veteran Mexican goalkeeper. He actually used to play Fortnite a lot on Twitch back in Chapter 2. It's fair to say that he's at beginner quality. I don't think he's exactly lighting up the lobbies with this clip. He didn't really build build much during any of his streams, but he did manage a few elims. He's got very basic skill, but it seemed like he was playing the game just for a bit of fun, but because of his beginner level, we are going to have to stick him in the bot tier. Now, someone that would be nowhere near the bot tier is Lamine Yamal, and unfortunately we don't have any footage for him. He has said that Fortnite is his favourite game, and we know for a fact that he plays tournaments in his spare time. He's queued up for a few ranked cups, so I bet he's good at the game. I bet his mechanics are solid, but unfortunately I don't have any evidence of that, so I can't rank him on this tier list. Now, you may have noticed that quite a few of the clips analysed in this video have been pretty old. They've been from chapters 1 and 2, but the video in question here is only about a year old. We have footage of Dominic Solanke, Aaron Ramsdale and Ezri Konsa playing Fortnite OG alongside Danny Aarons. These are 3 England internationals, and they all had pretty similar abilities. I would say that they were playing like it was chapter 1. The issue with that is that it was only a year ago, so I don't think I can put them too high up when it comes to their skill. I wouldn't say any of these guys were bad at the game by any means. They could all build, they were all contributing with eliminations. They all just had a few moments where they looked a bit shaky. You can see here Ramsdale gets blown up, not the best look. He also has this moment where he tries to build defensively, but I would say he's just spamming builds for the sake of it. He leaves himself open, doesn't go well for him there. There's also a couple of other moments. Dominic Solanke demonstrating his best free build, which doesn't feature a single edit, so you know, I can't really put him that high. They're not giving me a lot to work with here. We've got this moment where Solanke tries a weird left hand peek off a bush. We've got this moment where Ezri Konsa is trying to revive Solanke, but he does it completely in the open and gets sniped. I'm going to put all 3 of these guys in the okay tier. It's clear that they're not bad at Fortnite, but there's a few too many mistakes to be any higher. Now, sticking on the theme of footballers that play in England, let's talk about France and Brighton attacker Jorginho Rutter. Now again, he has some relatively recent clips. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of them, so it has been quite hard to analyse him. He did get a few eliminations, as you can see from what's on screen, but I feel like I can't really put him above the okay category because we don't have any clips of him building, of him editing. I haven't really seen much evidence that he is a top pro. He may well be, but I just haven't seen it. However, someone that we have plenty of footage for is Kai Havertz, someone who loves Fortnite. He even uses a special scuff controller to play the game, so he's clearly pretty serious about it. He used to stream it back in chapter 1 and into late chapter 2 as well, and honestly, he's not too bad. You can see here that he does have solid mechs, he knows how to 90s, he can edit, albeit slowly, which was pretty respectable considering the time this was during May of 2019, so I think we can give him some credit. There's plenty of moments where he shows that he's capable of getting eliminations. He is a pretty solid player. One thing to pick out with his gameplay though, there is this moment where he's fleeing a squad and he's building defensively, but he's just kind of spamming the builds. He's not putting them down in a deliberate, precise and conservative manner, and material efficiency is something that separates the good players from the top players. So that's one of the reasons why I'm going to put him in the decent tier rather than actually good. If I was doing this ranking back in 2019, then he probably would have been in the top tier because he was solid for that period, but the game has come a long way since then, and I need to see some video evidence that he's improved as well. Now let's round out the tier list with 2 more German players. We've got Julian Brandt up next, someone who did play a lot alongside Kai Havertz. I would say that he was probably slightly weaker than his German counterpart, but nonetheless I was impressed by his gameplay. Again, it was during chapter 1, so you have to accept that relative to the time he was actually pretty solid. We're going to put him in the decent category. Someone else who I'm also going to put in the decent category is Timo Werner. He's someone that does famously play a lot of Fortnite. We've got this footage of him 1v1ing Elias, and it's fair to say that he is second best during these fights. Nonetheless, he can build, he can edit, it's clear that he understands the game, but he's not going for advanced shots or build plays, and he is very reliant on aim dueling, which ultimately does limit his ability. It's a similar kind of thing to the Mesut Ozil thing from earlier. He can build, he has mechanics, but he's not really a clinical fighter who's capable of getting elims, which ironically kind of reflects his playstyle on the pitch. Maybe I'm being too generous here considering we haven't seen much footage of him playing the game, but I am going to put him in the decent tier. Now, before I crown the GOAT of the video, there were a bunch of players that I did want to include because they do play Fortnite, but I couldn't find any footage for them. We've got Antoine Griezmann, the French player who literally had his own Fortnite org. He famously did the Fortnite celebration in the 2018 World Cup final. We've got Ousmane Dembele, a fellow French player. There are rumours that he allegedly once missed training as he stayed up late playing Fortnite with his friends. Marco Reus and Son Heung-min, 2 players that both have skins in the game. You've got Vincent Kompany, who said his favourite ever game to play is Fortnite. Same thing with Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund, 2 ex-Manchester United players who both play the game. But after all these names, I've got to pick the GOAT player, and there's only one option in my mind. I am of course going to have to go with Christian Pulisic. He's the only player on this list that is using piece control, that is looking dangerous in fights, that is choosing great angles, that is fighting effectively. I genuinely really liked what I saw from his footage. Yes, it's a little bit old, so maybe if he was to fight some of these guys now, he might not win, but from everything that I've seen, he is the best football player at Fortnite. But listen, is there someone else that I'm missing? Which players are even better, but they don't share their ability publicly? Let me know if I've forgotten anyone. Let me know if you agree with the tier list. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.